Hello, good morning. My name is Sister Jewel, and today, for our morning devotion, I will be discussing, are you still willing to follow even if you are not in charge? Okay, so I actually love this topic. I love all my topics, but this topic is funny because there's a lot of us that are in charge and then have a hard time allowing others to lead us. For example, like a lot of us is placed in positions like we're maybe doctors, we're in management, where we're constantly have to be in charge, constantly got to tell people what to do, constantly being big boss. And sometimes it becomes hard when we have to, when the roles is flipped, where because we're so used to practicing this out all the time, being leader, bleeding leader, being a leader, being a leader, that when it's time to submit or follow somebody else, it becomes conflicting, because it's either you try to take a back seat, but then if they say something, you gotta share your opinion, you gotta tell maybe we should do this instead, or you're trying to put yourself in the forefront, where because you're so used to being in the forefront and doing things that it becomes a little riff when it's time to take a seat back and let somebody be in charge. You try to be more spoken, you try to have a voice, you're not letting a person fully be in charge. For example, if you're a child and you have a mother, and all your life you're listening to the mother, right? I mean, the mother is listening to you. I mean, you're listening to the mother. I'm sorry. Yes, you're listening to your mom, and your mom is telling you what to do for your whole entire life. And now that your mom got older and she can't do for herself, she can't barely do anything. And now you, as a child, have to take up the responsibility to take care of your mom, make decisions for your mom, and stuff like that. Or any parent in that case. Sometimes it's hard for the parent to adjust to that, because they're so used to being in charge. So it's like when you telling them what to do, they get annoyed, they get upset, they get like angry, because they're like, this is my life, I know what I'm doing, I've been taking care of myself, you stop telling me what to do, stop. And I worked in the medical field where I worked with a lot of older people, and this tend to happen because they're so used to being in charge, but they don't realize that they can't no longer help themselves, that they need to now be the follower and not the leader. So the scripture is coming from Matthew chapter 16, verse 24 to 26 in the Message version. It reads, "Then Jesus went to work on his disciples. Anyone who intends to come with me has to let me lead." Right? You're not in the driver's seat. I am. Don't run from suffering. Embrace it. Follow me and I'll show you how. Self-help is no help at all. Self-sacrifice is the way, my way, to finding yourself. Your true self. To find yourself. Your true self. Sorry. What kind of deal is it to get everything you want but lose yourself? What could you ever trade your soul for? All right? So let's break it down. Like in the first thought, it says, "Then Jesus went to work on his disciples. Anyone who intends to come with me has to let me lead." So right there off the bat, God is saying that if you choose to follow me, that's what disciples are, as followers of Christ. If you choose to follow me, you have to let me lead. That's it. It says you're not the driver. You're not in the driver's seat. So you know how sometimes maybe when somebody's driving and then the passengers are always trying to tell the driver where to turn, how to turn, when to stop, when not to stop, which direction to take. It's like, you're in the passenger seat, I'm driving. Let me drive, and you just be there going through the process. You be there and you'll reach to your destination. I'm gonna meet you. I'm gonna get you there safe. Are you trusting in me that I would get you there safe. Are you trusting me that I'm taking the right turns and going the right step? You know? Most of the time, the passengers don't trust you, especially because they so used to being the driver. They so used to being in the lead that when they finally in the passenger seat, they feel like they still should take up that role and responsibility. When it's like, no. Now you have a new role and a new responsibility where you must just sit back, relax, and follow the directions or follow the route that is planned from the person in charge, right? So, as a disciple, God is saying, sorry, your manager position is over. You have to. This is not maybe not. It's a requirement. You have to let me lead. So guess what? As Christians, we have to drop down our ego, drop down our boss mentality, and we have to follow Christ. If that's what the role and that, well, as Christian, I'm expecting that that's what you want to do, right? And it says on the next stanza, don't run from suffering, embrace it. I actually love that, because a lot of people, when we get to a point in our life where stuff come our way, we tend to run. How can you grow? How can you do better? How can you be a warrior, a stallion, and a fighter, a great army and soldier of God? That every thing that come up your way, every suffering, every defeat, you're ready to run and you don't know how to face it, right? The moment you learn how to face and embrace it, embrace all the struggles that come your way, you will gain the tools to fight your battles. You will gain the tools to make it in your life. You will gain the tools that any form of weapon come against you, you'll brace it and be strong enough to fight it through, right? Next it says, follow me and I'll show you how. So God is saying again, I'm the leader. In order to know how to embrace your suffering, follow me and I'll show you. And this simple thing is going through the storms of life, right? With Jesus and God at your side, going through the storms of life, reading the Bible. These are ways that we follow God, reading and understanding Him, going through our life and doing the right thing. That's how we learn and we develop traits like Him. Because we're the leader, right? As people that follows the leader, eventually you start adapting certain traits or certain lifestyle that they practice or they push and navigate on us. So if you're growing up in your parents' house, your parents would teach you, I'm the leader, this is how I want you to wash the dishes, this is how I want you to do this is how I want you to do that, right? So as us following our parents, we learn to do things in their way. And God's basically saying, like, since I'm the leader, follow me and I'll show you how it's done. He'll show you how He wants you to do things in His way, not our way, but His way, right? And then it continues to say, self-help is no help at all. You hear that? Self-help is no help at all. A lot of us want to do things ourselves. We don't ask for help. We don't ask for no guidance. We say, even though the load is heavy, we say, I could do it. I could do it. And that is no help at all. Like, you're not, like, self-help, want to do things on your own or want to do things the way you want to do it. You're not helping yourself. For example, if you're struggling with a situation and your mind is all over the place where you can't concentrate, you're feeling depressed and blah, 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 and then you just want to go through the process. You're like, I'll just help myself. I know what to do. I'll just go day by day or do this way until I get my mind together. Self-help is no help at all. You cannot help yourself by yourself. You have to seek some type of help. That's why people go to counselors, so they're able to help them. They go to pastors. They go to all types of manner of people so they can get help. Even if it's something simple like planning an event, you go to somebody that's an expert in the field that will help you through the situation that you're going through. So self-help is no help. Let's try now. What's the definition of self-help? Self-help, by definition, is the use of one's own efforts and resources to achieve things without relying on others. So we think that we got it all put together. We think that we got everything in the bag where we could prosper and do our own will. But it's like you're far from you need more help than anything. And you're drowning in your suffering, and you're drowning in everything. And you refuse to get help. And you're drowning. Following Christ, being the disciple of Christ, you got to let that ego go. You got to know that God is the helper, and he's there to help you in times of trouble. You gotta know that when you're in a situation when you're depressed, and instead of running away from God, you run to God, because he's your helper. He will help you. You cannot self-help yourself, because that's no type of help. Right? Next part, I'm got to speed it up. It says self-sacrifice is my way to find yourself, your true self. All right? What's the definition of self-sacrifice? Self-sacrifice, by definition, is the giving up of what you want so that other people can have what they need to want, right? Or other people can have what like whatever they need or want, right? So there's a lot of times as Christian people, this is like a big important thing that we do. Sometimes we gotta put self aside, that's self-sacrifice, just to help someone else, right? And as a true Christian, you will realize, and I actually said this is your true self. So as a true Christian, these are the traits that we need to develop. Where some of us are already going through these traits, like a mother, like a parent, right? A parent sacrificing, let's say, a parent is sacrificing their wants and desires to take care of their child, right? And people will be like, that's a parent's job. Although that's a parent's job, it's not their job. They don't have to do that, They brought you in the world. And yes, people might say that that's a part of the requirement to take care of you. But there's a lot of parents out there that don't do that. So the fact that they sacrificing, if they make X amount of money and they have $100 left and they really want this bag, but they decide that instead of buying the bag, they're going to sacrifice $100 and get you food or get you new shoes. That's what you call self-sacrificing. Giving up your wants and your needs and your desire to help somebody else. The same thing with like a soldier in the army. They gave up their life so they could fight for their country and fight for other people so that they could be safe. They sacrificing your life. Same thing with a parent, like I go back and say, a parent, an aging parent that needs help. You sacrificing your life as a child now to take care of your aging parent, or spend time with them, make sure they're good, And last but not least, it says, what kind of deal is it to get everything you want but lose yourself? What would you ever trade your soul for? That's a big question. Think of that question. What would you trade your soul for? What kind of deal is it to get everything you want, but you lose yourself in the process? There's a lot of people in this world where we look at things and we desire these things and we lose ourselves in the process. Some people be so money hungry that we strive and we go for money, and in the process of being rich or getting that money, we lose ourselves. We lose our character. We lose our respect. We're not nice people anymore. We're bashing people to get on top. That's not how God wants us to be at all. We have to be better. We have to do better. We have to want better. We have to be an example. Are you losing your soul in the process of trying to be better and trying to live a better life with God? The only soul that should be losing is for God. Because at the end of the day, when you're following God, you're doing this to death do us part type thing. It's like marrying to God. It's like, I'm going to work with you, God, until death do us part. So when death comes, I'll fight with you and walk with you and sacrifice my soul for you until death. That's the only sacrifice that you should make. And you wouldn't lose your soul because he's guiding and protecting you and building you up in so many different ways. You will learn so much by just following him. But with other things, especially worldly things, it's easy to lose your soul in the process. It's easy to lose your personality, your substance, and all these good stuff. But I babble way too much. But thank you for your listening ears. Tune in tomorrow. And bye.